we live? Yep, I think we're live. Okay, hello, welcome. So it's Julie from Do Business Like a Woman, and how are you today? We have some sunshine here in the UK, which is fantastic. And I'm here today to talk to you about live launching. So the topic for today's training is all about why your live launch might flop and what you can do to fix it. And I've got some really simple but effective hacks to share with you today. So a lot of coaches have been doing the live launching method and with very mixed results, right? Because this is not a new strategy. It's not something that's brand new, shiny object. It is something that's been around for a while, a number of years. And so what we're finding though, what I'm seeing is that for a lot of coaches, their live launches are not working as well as they would like. For some of them, it's a complete flop. For some of them, they're just not getting the sales that they would like to get. And there are very specific reasons for that, which I'm going to share with you today. And I'm also going to share how you can fix it. So in case you don't know what a live launch is, basically it is some kind of event, usually online, where you go live and you talk to your people, you usually on video, you connect with them, you do a series of videos, giving them some value, introducing your methodology, helping them solve their problem, and then inviting them to come and work with you. And excuse me. Oh dear. Oftentimes it can be, you might call it a challenge. It might be over the course of 5 days. That was always a very typical live launch. I've done them longer in the past. People do them shorter as well, like 3 days. So there's no absolute set formula for this. And you can test out with your own market and see what works best. But live launching is still really, really effective. And I'm going to share why, and I'm going to share what you need to do to make sure yours is converting really high and is really, really successful. Because there are some vital components that if you miss them, you are not going to have success with live launching. And that's what we're seeing a lot of in the market at the moment. So, that might look like you're going live, you plan your event and you're struggling to bring enough people in. Maybe you don't get as many opt-ins as you want. Maybe you wanted 100 or 200 or 500 and you got 50, right? So that is certainly a symptom, not getting the sign-ups that you want. Not enough people actually showing up live to consume the content, and you feel like you're having to drag people in. It feels really hard. And then not enough engagement, obviously leading to not enough sales. So not enough sales consults in your calendar, and ultimately not signing as many clients as you would like, which leads to an empty bank account. Which, I'm sort of smiling, but it's not funny when we actually experience that. It's no fun. And we don't want that because it feels crappy. It means that you're not serving in the way that you could. Your potential clients are missing out because they're not getting their problem solved. They're not getting helped. And all because we're missing some of the vital keys to make your launch successful. So, even if you're not live launching, even if you're someone who hasn't quite got there yet, you can take these principles and apply them to your Facebook Lives, the things that you are doing to generate sales calls and clients. Because what we want for you, what I want for you is a calendar full of sales consultations and client delivery, so that you're spending your time actually doing your work, delivering to clients, getting those sales calls booked in, people actually engaging on your content, engaging in your live launch, excited to engage, and lots of opt-ins, lots of people signing up and raising their hand. We want an easier experience where people come across and they say, yes, I want your thing when you make the offer, right? They say yes, rather than you having to convince and push, which can feel very much like pushing a boulder uphill. And I know this from personal experience because I've live launched a number of times. I know towards the end of, let's see, 2022, I was finding it harder, and for the reasons I'm going to explain. But I have just supported somebody through a live launch, and she made 12 sales into her high ticket program, which was pretty good. I think she got just a little over 100 opt-ins for her launch. Around 40 of those were actually engaging on the content a little bit more. Maybe half, like maybe 50, because we had some lag. You get a lot of replay watchers and things. So about half, and then from that 12 sales, which is pretty good. Okay, it's pretty good. So, would that make a difference to you to be able to close 12 sales in a short space of time with your high ticket offer, like £3,000 offer? If it would, put a yes in the comments, let me know. And also give the video a little heart, a little like, so I know you're here. I know that you've watched. If you're on replay, let me know. Give me a replay in the comments. So this is what we're talking about today. And, my experience with the live launching, I mean, look, this comes from originally Jeff Walker, who wrote a book, which I think is just now called Launch. It used to be called Product Launch Formula, but this was years and years ago, right? This was in the early days. And he started this whole thing of the 5 videos, right, leading into your offer, leading into your sale, and called it a launch. And there were all these steps. It was a whole methodology. It was a whole strategy, and still is, right? And that's where a lot of our launches come from. Now, this launching is a very, very valid tool. It's a very successful way to bring in a slew of sales in one go. What then transpired from there is the live launch. So, Kelly Roach is the one who was popular for really bringing this to the mainstream in the coaching world. I learned it from my mentor, Megan, and this was a number of years ago. And I live launched over and over in sort of 2020, 2021, and 2022, very, very successfully. Brought a lot of my clients in that way, filled my group program, filled my one-to-one schedule. So I have a lot of experience with this. There is a lot that goes into it, and I'm going to simplify it today, and you are going to walk away with, let's see, 7 tips that you can use right away that are going to improve this for you, and that are going to just absolutely shoot your conversion rates up. So we're talking the difference between, you making a couple of paltry sales and you getting 4 times more sales or more than you would normally. So this is the power of this, and these are small tweaks that you can implement. So why is live launching so effective? When you do this well, we can expect anywhere between around a 10% conversion rate of the people who've opted in, all the way up to, in some cases, 25%, which is really, really good, right? Imagine you have 100 people opt in and 25 of those actually sign up. That is amazing, right? Usually it's more like around the 10% mark. You got to look at how many people are actually engaging as well. Point is, that's a pretty good conversion rate of people consuming your content, because the thing about a live launch, by the time you've brought them through, is you are really going to warm them up. These are going to become hot leads and they are ready to buy. So that's really what we're doing in this process, is we're taking the people who have been maybe watching you, and we're getting them off the fence, and we're getting them to actually become clients of yours, to buy. So something I've seen recently about this too, that's really, really important, is that live launches are super effective for converting people that have been watching you already, right? So you absolutely can and will bring in new people straight into your live launch, take them through, and some of those people will convert. But what I have seen more in today's marketplace is that you will get a high percentage of people who've been watching you. Maybe they've been in your Facebook group, maybe they've had a call with you before. This is what I've seen on the launch that I just supported on. That at least, I think it was about half of the people who signed up with her had already had some kind of call or contact with the brand, right? So the point is, live launching is really effective for moving those people who've been watchers off the fence and into actually becoming a client and paying you, right? So it's really, really effective from that place as well. So if you're someone who's been feeling a bit frustrated with like, why are my audience not buying? Why are they like, I'm posting. I've had people who've been commenting, I've had calls, but they're not getting off the damn fence and they're not actually buying from me. Why not? Live launch can solve this for you. And it's why I'm a huge fan of it. I think it's such an amazing strategy for today as well. And I'll explain why. But here's the problem. Here's the biggest mistake I see people make when they live launch. And you want to write this down. The biggest mistake is they try to be too hands off, right? They just say, I just want to pre-record my videos, just want to get them out there. I don't want to connect with people. I don't have time. I don't want to talk to people. I'm going to just pay a VA or whatever to like do the commenting. I don't want to connect, basically. They want to be hands off. And while I get that, that really isn't what this is about. You know, a live launch is about connection. It's about connection. But look, to be clear, we are not talking about you burning yourself out here. We're not talking about you burning yourself into the ground. A live launch has to be implemented in such a way that it supports you and that you have processes in place that support you. Otherwise, you are going to feel like a headless chicken, right? Running around trying to do all the pieces. It's really good if you have some support in this process, although you don't have to. The times when I did it, back at the beginning, I didn't. Later on, I had some support from kind of what we called success coaches who would help me with some of the DMs and things like that. But you have to be, even if you have people supporting you with that, you have to be hands-on. You have to be, your energy has to be in it. This is the biggest thing I see, because people can feel that. And if your energy isn't in it, there's gonna be a bit of a disconnect. You will still make some sales in all likelihood. If your message is dialed in and you're taking people through this process, you will make some sales, but you will make many, many more sales if you are in it and you are connecting and you're willing to do that. In the age of AI, of everyone wanting passive, hands off, you know, I don't want to be involved. Go the other way. You know, have you heard this expression, when everyone zig and zag, when everyone's zigging, you want to zag, right? So everyone's like jumping on the AI train, trying to make it all these funnels and tech and not talk to anybody, not actually connect with any person. Well, let's do the opposite. Now, hey, I'm not saying don't use AI. I think we all use AI, whether it's ChatGPT or whatever you use to support you, but let's be the ones that are actually connecting with our people, that are actually having a real human conversation. And one of the amazing tools for doing this is your live launch. So, you know, when somebody tries to be too hands off, it severs that connection to their person on the other end, to the person they're talking to. And oftentimes they're using the same tired old messaging that they've been using forever that isn't working anymore because it's not specific enough, right? It's too general. They're not focusing on the present pain that their person has now and then showing them pain island and pleasure island and how to get there. They're not highlighting that gap. They're not making that clear enough in someone's mind that they can see it like a movie, right? That's what our messaging needs to do with this. So That's a little bit about the live launch. And what I'm seeing is so many people are making these mistakes. They don't have the strategy. They're missing vital pieces, which I'm going to share with you. And so they're putting all this energy in. You know, they are putting energy and they're showing up live. They're going live for 5 days. And then they're like making 1 sale or 2 sales. And they're like, what the bleep is going on here, because I've put all this energy in, why is no one buying? And it's so frustrating. And then they're looking in their, you know, calendar, not the sales calls are not dropping in, right? They're looking in their bank account, the money's really low. It's not fair, it's not effective. But let's change that for you today, right? Because you're going to want to note these down. This is going to change everything for you. So let's do it, shall we? Here we go. Number 1, and you probably will have guessed this, but don't poo-poo it, it's connection. Remember how I was saying a big mistake is just wanting to be hands-off with this. You got to connect with your people. You got to do this. Whether it's through video, then you want to actually reply to their comments. They're going to comment below. You're going to ask them to comment. You're going to ask for their engagement. You need to reply. We all need to be replying, right? They've taken the time to actually be there to listen to you. Give them some respect. Reply back. Show that you see them. People want connection more than ever. People want belonging. They want to be acknowledged, seen, and heard. So we've got to do this connection piece. I'm going to share with you an absolute corker of a bonus tip at the end for how you can just set this one on fire, right? Be like a rocket ship launching with this connection piece. But just to set the stage, I want you to keep that word in mind, right? That feeling of connection, connecting in with the universe, connecting in with your business, but most of all, connecting in with your people. Open your heart, serve them. That's the energy behind it. Not how many sales can I get? Yes, of course, we want to get the sales, and what I'm sharing will help you to do that. And that's not where we start. We start with generously serving. What can I give? What value can I give that they can use right away today? That is the spirit of it, and that needs to be the spirit of your live launch. And then just trusting that when you do this, when you take these amazing actions, you will build your business. And I've known many, some of the big successful people we look at today, they've built their business through live launching. And it hasn't gone away, and it's not going to go away, because it's a timeless strategy. Why? Because it's based on human interaction. It's based on some of those deep needs we have as humans to connect and belong and be part of a community, be seen and heard and helped, right? So it's not going away. Now, it's less popular than it used to be. And this is great, because this is where the opportunity is for you. When you rise above the rest and you put into place some of these little tweaks and hacks, you're going to get a really different result, okay? So the second one is you want to give people a red carpet experience when they come into your live launch. You know, I used to teach this, and I still teach the principles of it, but I always called my launches an experience, because that's what I wanted people to have. I wanted them to have an experience, not just come and watch another challenge or like watch a bunch of videos. Like, they came for an experience of transformation. And with mine, it was usually about helping them get more clients, right? Taking them from pain island of not enough clients, not enough money, not enough sales, through to pleasure island of let's get you those clients, let's get that money coming in, let's get you serving, living your mission, right? That's what my challenges were always about, but I called them experiences, and I loved that. And I really made it that red carpet experience of, right, and I used to word it like, I'm taking a small group of women through this no cost experience. We're going deep. I'm going to give you some of my absolute best stuff, and here's the result, and here's the transformation you will get just from this free challenge. And when you give them free wins, they want to come and work further with you and implement. That's the key, right? They want you to help them implement, because it's not a one and done thing, right? We know this in your work. It's not like you just give someone the information once and they're done, thank you very much, right? You know they need to come work with you. They need that ongoing support. But this is the first step. This is the experience. And if you absolutely wow them with that red carpet experience, it feels exclusive. You know, sometimes I used to make mine so there were genuinely limited spaces, and I'd let people know. And I'm like, look, if you're going to take one of the space, it is no cost, but I want you to show up and I want you to invest your time because I'm giving you my best stuff. You will get a result from this experience, right? That made it very different for people. It made it feel very valuable, and people would show up and they would engage. I got a lot of the ideas for that from a book called Oversubscribed by Daniel Priestley. Highly recommend it. So you want to give that red carpet experience to people and bring them in. One of the best experiences I ever did was called How Many Sales Consults Can You Book in 10 Days? And I did it over the course of 10 days and it was epic. There were people in that challenge, in that experience, dropping in and saying, hey, I've booked 10 sales calls. Hey, I've enrolled 3 clients, right? It was fire. It was absolutely amazing. I really, really loved that one. I should probably try and replicate it again. But yeah, it's something like that where you can get them a quick win. So in that experience, I was teaching them how to get sales consults, sales conversations, discovery calls, whatever you want to call them, onto their calendar. And it was the energy of it. It was what I was teaching. It was because I was activating them, and then they were going and taking action. And that's why it was so successful. And that's why people got results. And then, of course, some of those people wanted to come and work with me and continue the journey. Yay, right? That's so fun. That's what we want, is when you're not having to drag people. They've already experienced it. So they're like, hey, what's next? Let's do it. And you can absolutely create this today as well for your people. Number 3, and I debated actually whether to put this first because it's that important, but number 3 is you bring the energy. You know, this has been a learning curve for me because sometimes in business, particularly when we're like near the beginning, or maybe like me, you took a bit of a break and you're restarting, it's not advisable, by the way, it's not a good business strategy, but sometimes in life that happens. But sometimes you can be like getting things going again and you're out there doing your thing, showing up, posting, and we can get a little bit frustrated, right? There's no shame, there's no judgment in this. I've totally been there. Have you been there? I'm sure every business owner has been there, if not on the regular, of sometimes feeling quite frustrated, like, oh, it's not going fast enough, I'm not making as much progress. Maybe you go ahead and you plan and you put all this work and you do your first live launch and you don't get as many people showing up as you wanted, because it's your first time and you're learning, right? Or you're pivoting and you've got a bit of a new message. It can feel frustrating and we can get a bit flat. We can be like, well, why should I show up if they're not going to show up? Here I am giving all of this free value and they're not even taking it. What's going on? And we can take it very personally. I don't do that anymore, and we've got to stop that, right? Because it's not personal. It's not personal. It's just feedback. Maybe there's something in the message that needs tweaked, that is not dialed in enough yet. Maybe it is just your first one. Maybe you didn't have a buyer-ready community, as my mentor speaks about, right? Maybe you didn't have enough warm leads in your community in the first place. And if you want a training on that, by the way, let me know. Put community in the comments. Just put community in the comments and I can create a training on how to turn browsers into buyers, essentially, and how to create that community of people who are ready and wanting to buy from you. So let me know. But point is, we have to bring the energy. We are to be the leader, and it's us first. We cannot wait and expect them, your audience, to be like, oh my God, you're so great, and then you'll show up. No. If this is your mission, if this is what you're meant to do, you bring that energy, you show up. Even if there's no one there, which there won't be, there will be people there, right? But even when we feel like there's not enough people there, even when we feel like we're talking into the ether, even when, we're showing up and we're not yet getting the result. You bring the energy. We bring the energy. That's how it is. That's what it means to be a leader. And you get to do this. And when you do this consistently over time, you will build a successful business. You absolutely will. I know. I've done it. I've watched many people do it, and I've supported many, many coaches to do it at this point, both in terms of people I've coached, clients, but also behind the scenes, consulting in bigger coaching businesses too. But the energy has to come from us. All right, I think I've hit that one home enough. So hopefully you've got that. Number 4, you must DM people when you are doing your live launch. Do not miss this step. It's a huge mistake. I have seen people live launch, they still get some sales, but you've got to be DMing people. You can't be sitting back hoping that they show up and consume your content, hoping that they remember in their busy day. Look, we're all busy. There's a way of doing this so it doesn't feel salesy, of bringing them across, reminding them, inviting them, engaging them, right? But you've got to be in the DMs when you're doing your live launch, or somebody has to be. When I did this, first of all the first few times I did it, it was me doing all of this. It was usually me doing all of this. And later on, I had a couple of success coaches who would get in the DMs and do some of them for me. I think we split it 3 ways, right? But somebody needs to be in the DMs, bringing people over to watch your content, to see the videos. You have to do that, because otherwise it's too passive. You're relying that people will find their way, find the video, see the title, know it's for them, come across to the right place, watch it, comment on it. It just doesn't work like that. It just doesn't, not in today's market. So you have to be DMing, and I have scripts for this, for exactly what to say, so you don't feel salesy, but you can engage people and bring them across. And it's a huge service to them, right? Solving their problem. Your content solves their problem. Working with you solves their problem. So you've got to DM people. Number 5, give them homework. Give them homework. Do it. Why? Why do you think? Put in the comment why you think we might give people homework to do. This has to do with engagement, doesn't it? It has to do with engaging them. It has to do with all the science and research shows us that when somebody engages, writes down, takes time to implement some of your strategy, and especially if they get a quick win from it, bonus, ding, 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 right? But they are going to be 10 times more likely to buy from you if they're engaging. So you want to set them homework. It doesn't have to be really, really difficult, but you absolutely want them doing homework that's going to move them forward towards their desired outcome, Pleasure Island, and you're going to want to make sure that happens. And it should all be leading into your paid program. So everything you're doing in the live launch is leading them into the paid program, including the homework. But you want to encourage engagement. You want to give your best free content. I know a lot of people can be scared to do this. It's like, well, why should they work with me if I'm giving them all my best stuff? The reason is because we know information is not it. There is so much information out there. Anyone could go and spend a lot of time piecing together information and figure out how to launch a business and how to get clients and how to do that, or whatever your result is. I bet you they can go and find the information if they do a bit of Googling, a bit of YouTubing. The problem is there's actually too much information. It's overwhelming, right? They don't know what to do for the best. Also, we're human. Left to our own devices, we have all mindset things to work through. We need it so concrete. I've seen this with my own clients. We need, tell me exactly what I need to work on when I sit down at my computer every day. What are those daily activities that will lead to clients? What are those money generating activities? I still need it as a business owner, and I've been doing this over 10 years, probably getting on towards 11 years. So people need the same from you. They need that ongoing support. It's not just information. They need to implement, they need to experience the transformation, they need the accountability, they need the support, they need the community, right? And they need the reinforcement, hearing it over and over, making it as simple as possible for them, removing all the barriers. That's why people come and work with you. And you have to be able to articulate that clearly, you know? But that's why you must no need to be afraid to give away your really, really good stuff. Number 6 is we need kick-ass messaging and copy, right? This is your posts that are promoting your live launch ahead of time, about 3 weeks ahead of time. This is your email sequence that's promoting it to your email list. These are your emails once they opt in to get them to actually come and consume the content. Remember, we need them doing that. This is your DM scripts. This is your messaging. I work with you on this. I help you with this. It's not enough anymore to be super high level, right? And look, at this stage, you're probably not super high level. You probably feel like you've done a ton of messaging, a ton of work on your messaging, if you're anything like me. What I am realizing in today's market and what I've seen with the clients I support, that isn't enough anymore. It has to be so dialed in. It has to be so like, this is why when you're connecting with your people, talking to them, hearing from them, how are they speaking about the problem, the pain they're in right now that you can solve? We can't be guessing. We can't be too generalized. You know, for me to say I help you get more clients is not enough. I need to be going into what are the symptoms for you of not having enough clients? How does that look day to day? You know, are you sitting down at your computer and not knowing what to do and procrastinating because you're stuck? And then, you know, looking at your calendar and there are not the sales calls in there. Are you posting, tapping away on social media and you're just not getting the engagement and you can't for the life of you figure out why? And it's so frustrating. This is the kind of level of specificity. Here's a tip. Hear me on this. If you can get this, it's a game changer. You want to make a movie in their mind of both the pain that they're in, which they already know, right? But the way you connect with them is it's like a movie in their mind. So rather than just saying, oh, do you have this pain? Like, I don't know, let's take the example of a relationship coach. You can't get enough dates, right? And the guys that you do date are really flaky. I was going to swear, but I'm not sure if I should say really flaky, right? Don't say that. Say, did you open up your Tinder again to see another hookup message, right? And you're feeling so tired and so sick, you just shut it down again. You can see that, right? That's made a mind movie for you, because if you're a woman who's into dating, or even if you're not, you can still see it, right? You can imagine someone picking up their phone, logging into the dating app, seeing that and just feeling like, ugh. That is a mind movie. That's what you need to do in your content so people pay attention. And I teach you this. I show you, I work with you on how to do this. Number 7, this is like a bonus one, okay? You don't have to do this, but on the times that I have done this in my own live launches, it has supercharged my results, and I am not kidding, but it takes quite a lot of time. So you might not do this on if it's your first ever live launch, you probably wouldn't do this. But as I say, it works really well. So if you've got the time and you've got to make the time for your mission, you want to do this. So number 7, build in a goal setting call at the beginning of the experience and a follow-up call at the end. Now, what do I mean? I mean, if you can, this is the gold standard, and you can't always if you get a lot of signups, but if you can, try to connect with every person who signs up. And I once did this, and I got on a one-to-one call with every person who signed up. I did it with about 40 people, and I did a short 15-minute goal setting call with them. Then I took them through the experience. I took them through the live launch, the videos, supporting them. How much more engaged do you think those people were, having spoken to me personally? Wow, really, really engaged, right? And they had their goals, their personal goals for what they wanted to achieve. And I also built in the discovery call at the end. I didn't call it a sales call. It was a next step steps call. So they had their goal setting call. They set their goal for the experience. I took them through. I gave them loads of value. I held the hand all the way through. They got quick wins. And then at the end, I was like, right, it's time for your next steps call. Let's get you booked in. I talked to them. Do you want to come and work with me on this? Do you want support? Yes, yes, yes. Boom. This one is crazy in terms of increasing your conversion rate. Now, of course, as you scale this and you're having like a few hundred people into your live launches, you can't do that, right? You might set up a team member to do it, but you can't do that as you scale. But at the beginning, when you've got fewer people and you want them really engaged and that conversion rate is so important, you're going to want to do this, right? This is such a good strategy, and I don't know of anyone else who's doing it. This was something I made up, and I'm really, really proud of it because it works so well, right? So you want it, so it's not like, because what can happen is you do your launch and then at the end it's like, oh, this awkward bit now where I have to like invite them to the sales call and it feels different, like I've done all my teaching and presenting, now I'm going to go into pitching and it feels really different. We don't want that. We want it to be a seamless thing. So if you build it in and you let them know from the get-go, right, you're going to have a goal setting call, you're going to do the experience, and then you're going to have your follow-up next steps call, and let's get that scheduled in. And then it's scheduled in even before, and that's just part of the process. And then what you'll see is that you get a much higher percentage of people taking those discovery calls, right? We're talking the difference between like maybe 10% actually signing up, or no, it'd be a bit higher, maybe like 25% actually signing up for a sales call, a discovery call, and like I was getting like 75% of people actually taking up those discovery calls when I did it this way. So let me know if this is valuable. I know this is valuable because I've done it and I know how well it works, but do you see the value in this? Put value in the comments if you can see, and I want you to test it. If you'd love some help implementing this, I've got 2 ways I can support you with this. I've been doing this for years. As I say, I'm currently supporting coaches with this. Number 1, you can work with me and I'll give you the strategy for this. I'll give you the templates and the scripts and you will implement. So that's the first way. And I've got 2 spots for people to do that with me, right? So this is where I give you the strategy, I teach it you, and I handhold you. You'll have me in WhatsApp, we'll be going backwards and forwards, but you are gonna implement, right? And this, for the first couple of people, I've got 2 spots, and it's a very, very reasonable investment because I'm getting going again with the coaching arm of my business. So, and look, this is more than just coaching. This is actually me linking arms with you and supporting you through this strategy. So you're going to love this. That's the first way I can support you with this. And if you'd love that, send me a DM, reach out, and I'm happy to share more about how that looks and how I can support you with that. But essentially, I'm there, I'm giving you the strategy, I'm teaching it you, I'm holding your hand, you're implementing, you're getting my support, my accountability, giving you the scripts that you can use and the templates you can use. So that's a really fantastic way for you to absolutely optimize this strategy. I've got 2 spots available. I'm already working with a few coaches on this, and it is a very reasonable investment, but it won't stay. And I do mean that, it's get it now, because I won't do it for this level of investment going forward. This is me kind of getting it going again and supporting some peaks and getting back in flow. So definitely reach out if you want to implement this strategy and you'd love some help. The second way that I can support, and I've only got 1 spot available for this because this is a lot more work for me, obviously, is I do all of the above, but I also create your whole campaign for you from start to finish, personalize it, and I write all of your copy for you. So I write your posts, your promotional posts, your email sequence for your live launch, your DM scripts, all of that, personalize it to you and your brand and your message and your audience. So it's a much deeper way of working together. And I've got 1 spot available for that because that's a lot more work for me, but obviously very, very, very effective. So 2 options for you there. Reach out and send me a DM if you've got questions on that. I'd love to support you. I love this strategy. It's so fun seeing people do it, but it's not easy to do it. Like, what I mean is, if you're trying to do this by yourself, it's not the easiest thing to pull off, because there are kind of, moving pieces and parts, and really having that support is the best investment. But you will see that when you do, you get amazing results. You really can, like, not just double, but like 4 times the clients that you bring in through this. So that's live launching in a nutshell, and what you can do right away. You can take those tips I've shared with you, even if you're not yet live launching, go implement them on what you're already doing. Reach out with, like, tell me your questions, tell me how this lands with you. It's a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. I love it. I want to support you in any way I can. So that's what we're doing. And I will see you. Reach out to me, connect with me. I will see you for next week's training. I think we're doing turning browsers into buyers, So building that community of people who are ready to buy from you, turning browsers into buyers. So I'm excited for that. Give me a little hello in the comments. Give me a hashtag replay. Please give the video a heart or a like if you've had value from it. And go test out some of what I've given you today. So what is the one thing you are going to test today from what I've shared? All right, have a great rest of your day. Lots of love. Bye for now.